So everybody, good morning, Boker Tov. I'm here at Ein Gedi in Israel. I will not have the opportunity to give the class that I usually give because I'm sort of on the road and I'm traveling. But I'm in Israel, as some of you might know, which is extremely special. Right now I'm at Ein Gedi. Ein Gedi is the place where David HaMelech, King David, ran away from his son Avshalom, who was rebelling against him. And eventually, sadly, Avshalom was killed by David's men, and David, although in doing so, David was able to return to Jerusalem and resume being the king of Israel, he nevertheless mourned his son terribly, terribly, as it says in the prophets. But you know, this place, Ein Gedi, with this well of water and many wells of water in this really dry desert, and some of you have been here to Ein Gedi, you know, it just reminds us of the story of Israel, that although there is a desert, and although you're running away from your own child, and yet you find refuge, and you persevere, and you find life, and you give life, and you lead, and you bring people together. Because David returns to Jerusalem, the city which is called Ir Shechubra Lo Yachdav, the city which brings people together. So, and on that note, I want to share two experiences, as today's class will be a short class. So I want to share two experiences of what occurred in the last couple of days that I was here in the Holy Land. So one was at the Kotel on Tisha B'Av, and you know, Tisha B'Av marks the day that the two temples were destroyed. When we went into exile, the diaspora, all the suffering, all the persecution of our people throughout history is really a result of that day of Tisha B'Av. And yet, standing there at the Kotel, and the Talmud tells us that the reason why the temple was destroyed, trying to make sure I have the well in the background. I love that well of water here in the middle of the desert. The Talmud tells us that while the reason for the destruction of the temple was because of sinat chinam, baseless hatred, and various explanations of what that means, baseless hatred. What does baseless hatred mean? I mean, most people, when they hate someone, always have some reason of why they hate. So baseless hatred means when, although you might find a reason why you hate, which is what we tend to do, but really at the core of it is just a baseless hatred. We just all of a sudden, in order to justify, we find reasons for hate. That's baseless hatred. So the rebuilding of the temple has to start on a spiritual level, which is baseless love, unity. So I was standing at the Kotel on Thursday night. It was the end of the fast, and after fasting for 24 hours almost. And it was just so beautiful. I mean, I posted a video of that, of seeing everybody from so many different backgrounds, different religious streams, you know, Sephardic, Hasidic, Temani, Chabad, what they call Haredi, what they call modern Orthodox, non-religious people who are not yet observing their tradition, etc., etc. And everybody in unison was singing the Ani Mamin, I believe, you know, singing the beautiful Ani Mamin song that we believe in the prophets of the promise of a world of perfection with the coming of Mashiach. It was just really an amazing experience. And I wanted to share that because often we focus on the disunity, but there was just a wonderful feeling of oneness, of unity amongst all of us standing, representing really the full gamut of our people, of our nation. So that was very beautiful. And I also wanted to share one more thought, and with that we shall conclude for today. And God willing, I will not be back next week, but in 2 weeks we will probably be able to conclude with our full regular learning. So Friday night, the next night, I went to the Kotel. I'm here with some of my older children, and we were debating where we should go and pray for Friday night. And they said, no, we want to go back to the Kotel. They really loved just the feeling, the energy over there, the holiness, the love, the unity. So we went back Friday night, and at the Kotel there's a lot of singing going on, you know, l'chadodi, and multiple little pockets of minyanim, of different minyanim, again, of different groups, teenagers, C-teens, camp groups, again, Sephardic Jews, Hasidic Jews, they're all having their own minyan. And I really loved to hear the different types. Personally, I just love all these different customs. And I sort of went around to put an ear to the different songs of the different groups. But can you guess which group I decided to stop and do my praying with? So, was it the Hasidic group? Was it the Chabad group? Was it the Sephardic group? Was it the camp group? Was it the modern Orthodox group? Okay, I'll tell you. The group that I decided to begin the prayers, they finished before I did, so then I went and joined another group so that I could do the Amida and hear some Kaddish. But the group that I was attracted to and that I started my prayers on Friday night was probably a group of about 30 soldiers, 30 IDF soldiers. And I felt that this would be the best place for my prayers to take place, and that I should, and from the merit of my prayers, because I figured and I thought to myself, there's no people, any group, as holy as they all are, and they're all holy, as holy as they all are, the Sephardic, the Hasidic, the modern Orthodox, the Yemenites, all holy. But this group of people who literally, young kids who put their life on the line to defend all of us, every single one of us, regardless of our position, who we are, what our merits are or non-merits, what it is, they literally put their lives on the line. I had such an overwhelming feeling of warmth. And I said, this is the group that is the most special group that I see represented here that I want to do my prayers with. So I'm sharing with you some of my trip over here. We have, Jerusalem in general. Jerusalem in general is such a combination of the past, of the future, of persecution. Every stone tells a story of love, a story of hate, a story of persecution. But ultimately, there's such a beautiful energy of hope, of perseverance, of holiness, of Am Yisrael Chai. You feel it, you sense it, but within all that history and difficulty and struggle in Yerushalayim, you feel that, you sense that past, and you sense the current challenges, but you also sense such a positivity, such a holiness. So, Am Yisrael Chai. Right now, I share this also because we just celebrated Tisha B'Av, and Tisha B'Av is about remembering the past, doing tshuva, repenting for our shortcomings of the past, but definitely also, even more so, making the right resolutions and having and taking the beautiful message of all of this from Tisha B'Av, from Yerushalayim, and with that we will definitely merit speedily to the fulfillment of all our prophets and the coming of Mashiach. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week.